just had this, I don't even know what to call it. I'm just thinking about time and things like dates and like, oh, I want to see this happen by this day, or an expectation of this happening on that day. And I don't know what happened with me and time. A lot of my experience with time growing up was, oh, you have to read this book by this day or this many pages by that day. But I never really wanted to do it. Time as an object has always been, oh, this essay is due on this day. This has to be turned in by that day. And for a man like myself, I sit here speaking this Black Mirror because it's not that I fear time or that I'm scared of it, but it's almost like I don't want to let myself down or put a number to something that isn't meant to have a number. And what any of this means is that, like, I just had this thought of like, okay, what is my root base 0? What is my version of standard or normal? And if I had to put it into a numerical value, and this is just for what it is. And it's not a materialism based concept either. It's just like, that's just what it is. And that's essentially, when you put all the numbers together, it's about like $21,000 a month income, because that allows me to feel free, easy. And the reason it feels free and easy is because that's what makes me happy. Point blank, period. It feels good knowing that money is being put towards things, again, that bring me joy. Getting to pay those taxes brings me joy. Getting to understand that the people that show up to perform a service at the places that I decide to walk into, I know are worthy of receiving my money. And so, as essentially a steward to that thing called money, $21,000 a month is my version of root base 0. Because additionally with that, I can help myself learn and discover things like ways to travel, or places to go visit, or materials that are good for humans. And when I think about that as just as a complete base, then I think about, okay, the car that I'm capable of driving, and it all feels just very normal. Because if I think about the things I get to pay for, that would be a home, a car, and putting fruits and vegetables on my table. That's simple. And then with the rest, I can invest it again into maybe ingredients or materials or machines. That's just as a root-based zero, because ultimately the overall income that can be generated, the amount of energy that can be created, the amount of money that can be received with that is well over 100,000 a month. And saying these numbers out loud is, for me, it's now easy because I know that that's what it is. That's all I know. And that's all I understand. That's all I choose to allow myself to accept. Because again, it makes me happy. It brings me joy knowing that I'm responsible for those basic things. Because then my cup then overflows, and then other people get to have their cups be filled with what I expand with what allows me to overflow. So I accept that I can give, knowing that it's not draining me. And then my thought eventually evolved into, okay, if I had to put a date or a time into, like, well, when are you gonna look in your bank account and have that amount of money in that particular bank account? And then you also look at it in the sense of, like, okay, what do you want to do this time next year, or what do you want to do in 3 months, or and then it eventually went into, okay, that first house you're gonna transact, what's the value of that going to be? Because, see, that's also a root-based zero of mine, is where I am physically right now is more up the alley of, yeah, these are the kind of houses that I get to transact and deal with every day, because that's just a choice. Because, at least in my eyes, the version of wealth and rich abundance that I look at is like, okay, at its, again, root base zero, as long as I can essentially power the computer, which is turn the eyes on, and make calculations, which is analyze, and create systems, which is why I'm here on Earth, then I'm properly using my body. And this is all that's really needed, especially in this world. As long as you have a body. That something I learned is that me staying at a hotel that's $5,000 a night, and me walking on the beach, one of them is free and the other one I paid $5,000 for. But see, the same singularity in that moment, in the same moment that I swung a baseball bat and hit a home run, or I kicked a soccer ball and it went in a goal, the same source of that wealth, of that ability, happened to be my body. So physically standing up and opening doors and pushing record to record this is some of the most wealth that I've ever experienced, because with my body I can feel someone's touch. I can feel how good it tastes to have ripe fruit. I can feel goosebumps when a song plays. And now let's talk about being rich. These thoughts that I'm having, I'll tell you this much. I used to stutter a lot. I used to say things that didn't really correlate with the life I wanted. And I used to make decisions that ultimately harmed my body. They were really putting me at a disadvantage for how great I really am as a person, how wealthy my body really is, and how lucky I am to have these thoughts that are so rich that it makes being out in the sun that much better. It makes being in unknown space that much easier. It makes talking to people and looking them in the eyes that much better. So these are rich thoughts. Being rich in your thoughts is knowing that happiness and joy is it could be a full-time thing. And then the thought process eventually went into okay, when I consider time, in my life up until this point, the whole concept of, they call it a deadline, but I'm doing my best not to use that word because it involves the word dead. I think expectation is kind of that's the line, because X in that prefix. But you could positively expect something, but then part of me is sitting here essentially, and this is just an internal dialogue conversation I just had, is it possible to just allow myself to receive something and time isn't relevant to it? And then I think about, okay, one of the things that I instantly manifested was there's this day I was on the beach and I had a vision of going to a particular pizza place that I had been to before and getting a pizza, but there was a real vivid part of it where I had a particular parking spot and I had seen myself inside of the pizza shop, looking outside the pizza shop at the car that was parked in that exact spot. And I got up from my nap and I said, "Hey, who wants pizza?" And everyone was like, "Okay, let's go." And about 45 minutes later, I parked in that exact parking spot. And I can tell you this because I was in the pizza place looking at that parking spot, and I have a video of the whole thing. I mean, it's not that you need proof to be swayed. I don't even have to show you the proof. It's just time, it was so right then and there and so now. And so this whole thing of time, I'm just now realizing that I've been working on myself for the past 6 years trying to figure out what those previous 6 years have been, to now understand what these past 12 years have been like. And it's so fascinating because, I mean, 6 years ago, when I decided to venture off into this journey, I didn't know how long it would take. I didn't even give myself a timeline. And I'm now sitting here realizing, like, you get to listen to me have a moment of realization that I get to learn what time is like for me right now. And what time is like for me right now isn't meant to have any of the feelings that I had before, because I'm not that person anymore. But because I do have the experience and I've upgraded my own tool belt, what I can do with time has just changed forever, because I'm not attached to the materiality of the world. I know that numbers and money are just numbers and are just money. It's an energy, really, if anything, both of them. And what I feel now is a sense of relief that my ultimate realization for this video, 16 minutes and 46 seconds in, is that I don't have to be scared of something that I have, in this case, for this person, that I have yet to interact with. And so the reason why I'm having this conversation like this is, I mean, if you're 17 minutes and 19 seconds into this video, is that, first off, you probably care about yourself the same way I care about myself. And second, you probably have an attention span longer than most people around you. And it's not that you feel alienated, it's that you're looking for content that is like this. So I'll take a moment to realize, like, man, these people are vibing the way that I vibe. Awesome. And the point in any of this, so the intention is for you to realize that there are completely other ways of thinking, and that the purpose being, well, let's look at it intrinsically. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I love being able to hear myself speak through something, especially a thought and an idea. And a lot of the times, some of the most fun I've had is quite literally having philosophical or theoretical or ethical conversations with people. And a lot of times they involve someone else. But what I'm now learning, what I've been taught, is that I can have these conversations with myself, but then I can also be okay with the fact that I don't have to have them with anyone else. The reason I don't have to have them with anyone else is because not everyone is me, and not everyone understands what I know, and not everyone is looking at what I'm seeing. So all of this is to say, because I'm like 3 lights away from goodies, is that the purpose that I do this is quite literally because it makes me happy. I could sit here and be like, oh, I want other people to be aware and see what this mindset, this way of thinking and choice of life, what the results are going to be. But I don't have to say that out loud to know that that is going to be the literal manifestation of what happens because I am redundantly and repetitively doing something that is going to yield a result. So the effort is going to essentially give back to me something self-evident, because that's just how it works. You get out what you put in, type of thing. And so, as patient as I can be, the ultimate thing here is that the choice I'm making right now is to learn about time. And this is the first opportunity that I've wholeheartedly have taken the concept of time and have held it and realized, like, okay, I actually haven't negotiated with Father Time yet in all of my working on myself. And that's good, because that means that I get to do something new. And so I'll leave you with that. It's been a good 21 minutes plus. For any time that I feel like speaking, I'll just turn on the camera again. And for right now, I'll just leave you be. So take care. All the best.